Do you know the average American spends more than 6 hours a day looking at screens, but less than 6 minutes looking inside their own mind? Pause for a second. Let that sink in. Welcome to mindfulness. This space is not about philosophy you can't use or abstract wisdom that floats too far from daily life. It's about practice. It's about reclaiming your mind, one breath at a time, so that you can actually live the life that's happening right now, not the one your restless thoughts keep pulling you into. Here's the hard truth. The real enemy is not your boss, not the economy, not your relationships. The real enemy is the voice in your head that never stops talking, judging, comparing, replaying old mistakes, and predicting disasters that may never come. It's like carrying around a wild horse inside your mind. No matter how much you want to sit still, it keeps dragging you through mud, over cliffs, into storms, and the more you fight it, the more exhausted you become. I've been there too. For years, I thought success meant pushing harder, eating fast, talking louder, and ignoring the signals of my own body. My habits were sloppy. I ate whatever filled the hunger in the moment. I spoke without pause, sometimes harsh, sometimes careless. I thought these things didn't matter, until they did. Until one day I realized that the chaos outside was only reflecting the chaos inside. That's when I stumbled into mindfulness. At first, I thought it was boring. Just sitting, just breathing. I laughed at the idea that something so simple could change anything. But then came a moment of silence that broke me open. I was sitting in the back of a small meditation hall, restless, checking the clock, when suddenly my teacher said, "Breathing in. I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I smile." It was Thich Nhat Hanh's voice, gentle but firm, echoing through the space. For the first time in years, my body softened, my shoulders dropped, my mind stopped galloping, and in that tiny pause, I felt alive again. Mindfulness is not a product you buy or a skill you need a degree for. It's a secret weapon you already carry inside. 3 simple keys unlock it. Breath is the anchor. Every inhale and exhale is a rope tying you back to the present moment. When the storm comes, you don't have to run. You hold on to the breath and the storm passes. Now is the only time we own. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is not yet here. The only place life is happening is here, in this breath, in this bite of food, in this word you speak. Awareness transforms pain. Pain by itself can destroy us. But when you turn toward it with awareness, something shifts. The Buddha once taught that suffering is like being struck by 2 arrows. The first is the actual pain, but the second is the story we tell ourselves about it. Awareness removes that second arrow. Let's try it together. For just 30 seconds, sit still. Breathe in deeply. Notice the cool air entering your nostrils. Breathe out slowly. Feel your body soften. If your mind wanders, that's fine. Bring it back to the breath. Just notice. Just be. Now, did you feel it? Even if only for 10 seconds, did your mind grow a little quieter? That's the power of mindfulness. It doesn't take years of training to taste peace. It only takes a moment of attention. I know what it feels like to be lost in the noise. And I also know what it feels like to find a way back home to myself. That's why I invite you to join this journey with me. If 1 minute can shift your state, imagine what a daily practice could do for your entire life. That's why mindfulness exists, to walk beside you on this path. So imagine this. You wake up tomorrow morning. Instead of grabbing your phone, instead of diving headfirst into yesterday's stress, you sit up, you take 1 breath, you smile, and you start your day with peace. That's not a dream. That's mindfulness. Pause. Breathe. Smile. The hidden enemy is rarely what we think it is. We point fingers at our job, our bank account, our partner, or even the city we live in. But if you look closer, The real battle is inside. It's the restless mind, the one that never shuts up. Think about it. You sit down to eat, but instead of tasting your food, your brain is replaying an argument from last week. You try to sleep, but your thoughts are busy predicting the worst outcomes of tomorrow's meeting. You walk in the park, yet you don't even see the trees because your mind is stuck in emails or headlines. That's not living. That's being hijacked. The Buddha compared this restless mind to a monkey, always jumping from branch to branch, never resting. Thich Nhat Hanh softened that image with a smile, calling it monkey mind, but also reminding us that even a monkey can be trained, with kindness, not with violence. And American teachers like John Kabat-Zinn, Jack Kornfield, and Sharon Salzberg echo this in their teachings. Your mind is not your enemy, but your relationship with it can destroy or heal you. Here's the problem with ignoring this hidden enemy. When your habits of eating, speaking, and living are careless, they multiply the chaos inside. I remember a time when I rushed through meals every day. I would eat standing up, scrolling through my phone, not even tasting what I swallowed. Later, I'd speak to people with the same impatience, fast, sharp, careless. The truth? I wasn't really present. I was only reacting, running on autopilot. And the more I did that, the more useless I felt, as if I was losing myself in the noise. But here's the good news. The very enemy we fear, this restless, stormy mind, can also become our greatest ally. How? By training it gently, the way a wild horse can be tamed with patience. Every breath, every bite of food, every word spoken can become a practice ground. Thich Nhat Hanh often said, when you wash the dishes, wash them as if they were the most important thing in the world, because at that moment they are. Imagine that. A simple plate, a stream of water, your hands moving slowly. Suddenly, the ordinary becomes sacred. And in that moment, the restless mind bows down, if only for a second. Science backs this up too. Researchers at Harvard found that our minds wander nearly 47% of the time, and the more they wander, the less happy we feel. But mindfulness practice, simply bringing attention back to the present, reduces stress, improves health, and increases our sense of fulfillment. Not by changing the outside world, but by changing our inner relationship with it. So the question is, are you willing to see the real enemy? Not the coworker who annoyed you, not the traffic jam, not the broken phone. The enemy is the voice inside that drags you into the past or hurls you into the future. Once you see it, you can stop blaming the world and start reclaiming your peace. Because when the mind quiets down, even just a little, something beautiful happens. The taste of an apple becomes richer. The sound of your child's laughter feels deeper. Your own words soften, and people respond to you with warmth instead of defensiveness. Suddenly, you are not a victim of the world. You are present in it. And that's the hidden power of mindfulness. Not to escape life, but to live it fully. Pause. Take a breath. Notice the silence after these words. That's where your freedom begins. I want to tell you a story. For years, I carried stress like it was my identity. From the outside, I looked successful, fast-paced job, busy social life, constant motion. But inside, I was running on fumes. Meals were rushed, words came out sharp, and silence felt unbearable. I thought being busy meant being important. In truth, I was just lost. One night, after another 12-hour day, I sat in my car in the parking lot, too exhausted to even drive home. My hands were shaking from too much caffeine, my mind spinning with unfinished tasks. I remember thinking, is this it? Is this what life is supposed to feel like? That was my breaking point. I wasn't sick in the medical sense, but I was deeply unwell in the human sense. Empty, disconnected. The turning point didn't come from a miracle. It came from a pause. A friend invited me to a mindfulness retreat. I almost didn't go. The idea of sitting in silence sounded unbearable. But something inside me whispered, try. And so I did. The first day was torture. My legs hurt. My thoughts screamed louder than ever. I counted the minutes like a prisoner. But then, on the second morning, something shifted. I remember walking slowly to breakfast, and for the first time in years, I actually noticed the sound of birds. It wasn't extraordinary. It was simple, but it felt like waking up from a long sleep. Later, during a guided meditation, the teacher, an American practitioner inspired by Thich Nhat Hanh, said, "Your breath is home. No matter where you go, you always carry home inside you." That sentence hit me like lightning. Home wasn't out there, waiting in some future achievement. Home was already here in the rise and fall of my chest. From that moment, mindfulness stopped being a concept and became a lifeline. I learned to slow down when eating, to actually taste the food. I learned to pause before speaking, to let kindness filter through my words. And slowly, the chaos softened. This is the turning point many of us need. Maybe your story is different. Maybe it's anxiety, burnout, loneliness, or a sense of meaninglessness that weighs on you. But the pattern is the same. When we are caught in the restless mind, life feels hollow. And when we return to the present, even for a moment, life feels alive again. Jon Kabat-Zinn, the founder of mindfulness-based stress reduction in the US, often says, "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." That's exactly what the turning point is. Realizing that the waves of stress and uncertainty will always be there, but you don't have to drown. You can learn to ride them. For me, it started with one deep breath in a crowded meditation hall. For you, it might start here, reading these words, pausing for just a second, and feeling your own breath. That pause is the doorway. And once you step through, nothing looks quite the same. If I had to name one secret weapon that has changed my life more than anything else, it would be mindfulness. Not a gadget, not a self-help hack, not another subscription I had to pay for, but something I already carried with me all along. The breath, the present moment, awareness itself. The beauty of this weapon is that it's invisible. You can't hold it in your hands, but you can feel its power the moment you use it. And unlike money, status, or even health, nobody can take it away from you. It's yours, always. Over time, I discovered 3 simple keys that unlock this weapon. They're not complicated. In fact, they're so simple that at first I doubted them. But the more I practiced, the more I realized these keys could shift not only my state of mind, but the way I lived my entire life. First key, breath is the anchor. Think of your mind like a boat tossed around on the waves of stress, fear, and distraction. Most days it feels like the waves are in charge, but the breath is your anchor. Every inhale and exhale ties you back to the ground of the present moment. I remember sitting in a crowded office, deadlines flying at me, phone buzzing nonstop. My chest felt tight, my jaw clenched. Then I remembered something Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "Feelings come and go like clouds in a windy sky. Conscious breathing is my anchor." So I put down the phone, closed my eyes, and took 3 slow breaths. Just 3. The room didn't change. The deadlines didn't disappear, but I did. For the first time that day, I felt stable. Science confirms this too. Studies from Stanford show that even a few minutes of deep, mindful breathing reduces cortisol levels, the hormone that fuels stress. You don't need a meditation cushion or incense. You just need your lungs. Second key, now is the only time we own. We spend most of our lives living anywhere but here. The past keeps pulling us back with regrets. The future keeps dragging us forward with anxiety. But the truth is, the only place life actually happens is now. Sharon Salzberg, one of the great meditation teachers in America, often says, mindfulness isn't difficult. We just need to remember to do it. That's because the present is always available, but we forget. We forget while eating, walking, talking. I'll never forget one meal at a retreat when I actually slowed down enough to taste a single raisin. Just one raisin. We were guided to chew slowly, to notice the texture, the sweetness, the way it changed in the mouth. It sounds silly, but that one raisin taught me more than any self-help book. Because in that moment, I was truly alive. and I realized how much of my life I'd been missing by rushing through it. When you live in the now, even simple moments become extraordinary. The sound of rain on the roof, the warmth of your coffee cup in your hands, the smile of a stranger passing by. These moments are not small. They are life itself. Third key, awareness transforms pain. Pain is part of being human. We all carry it, whether it's physical pain, emotional wounds, or the ache of loneliness. Most of us try to run from it, numb it, or cover it up with distractions. But mindfulness teaches us something radical. Turn toward the pain with awareness. The Buddha said suffering is like being struck by two arrows. The first arrow is the pain itself. The second arrow is the story we tell ourselves about it. Our resistance, our judgment, our fear. We can't always avoid the first arrow, but we don't have to shoot ourselves with the second. I once met a Vietnam veteran at a mindfulness retreat led by John Kabat-Zinn. He suffered from chronic pain and PTSD. For years, he felt like his body and mind had betrayed him. But through mindful awareness, he began to see his pain not as an enemy, but as a teacher. By breathing with it, observing it, softening around it, he found moments of relief and eventually a new relationship with his suffering. It's still here, he told me, but it doesn't own me anymore. That's the power of awareness. It doesn't erase pain, but it transforms our relationship with it. Instead of drowning, we learn to float. These three keys, breath as anchor, living in the now, and awareness of pain, are not abstract ideas. They're tools. They're practical. You can use them in the middle of an argument, in a traffic jam, or while brushing your teeth. And the more you use them, the stronger your secret weapon becomes. The truth is, mindfulness is not about escaping life. It's about entering it fully. Every bite of food, every conversation, every step can be a chance to practice. And when you practice, little by little, the restless horse inside your head begins to settle. One day, you might notice something subtle. You speak with more kindness. You listen more deeply. You eat with more gratitude. You feel less like a victim of circumstances and more like a participant in your own life. That's when you'll realize the secret weapon was never outside of you. It was always here, waiting for you to notice. So pause. Inhale. Exhale. This is it. This is where your life is happening, and this moment is enough. We've talked about ideas, but mindfulness only comes alive through practice. Words can inspire, but experience transforms. So let's try something small together, right here, right now. You don't need a special room. You don't need to sit in the lotus position. You don't even need silence around you. All you need is a willingness to pause. Ready? Sit comfortably. Place your feet on the ground. Let your hands rest softly. Now close your eyes if you'd like, or simply lower your gaze. Take one slow breath in. Notice the cool air entering your nostrils. Breathe out slowly. Feel your shoulders soften just a little. Do it again. Inhale gently. Exhale gently. Don't force. Just notice. For the next 30 seconds, simply follow your breath. If your mind wanders, and it will, don't fight it. Just smile to it, as Thich Nhat Hanh often taught. Hello, my little wandering thought. Then guide it back kindly to the breath. Now open your eyes. Notice your body. Notice the space around you. Let me ask you, did you feel even a slight shift? Did your mind feel a little quieter, even for just 10 seconds? If so, that's mindfulness. Not a theory, not a philosophy, a lived moment of presence. This is the proof of concept. Even in half a minute, you can touch a piece of peace. And if 30 seconds can do that, imagine what a daily practice could bring. When John Kabat-Zinn first introduced mindfulness into American hospitals, he asked patients with chronic pain to simply notice their breath for short periods of time. Many were skeptical, but over weeks, even a few minutes of practice helped lower stress and improve their quality of life. That's the magic of mindfulness. It doesn't demand hours right away. It begins with just a few breaths. I often think about something Sharon Salzberg says. Mindfulness isn't about becoming a different person. It's about being more fully the person you already are. That's exactly what these tiny practices do. They reconnect you with yourself. They remind you that you're not broken, not incomplete. You're simply distracted. And with practice, you can come home again, breath by breath. So let this mini experience be a seed. It may feel small, but seeds grow. One mindful breath in traffic can prevent an angry outburst. One mindful pause before dinner can turn a rushed meal into a moment of gratitude. One mindful silence before you speak can turn a careless word into a kind one. This is how transformation begins, not with grand gestures, but with small, steady returns to the present moment. Pause. Smile. You've already started. I want to tell you something personal. When I first stumbled into mindfulness, I wasn't looking for peace. I was looking for a way to survive. My stress was eating me alive. My words were sharp, my habits careless. I thought meditation was for monks on mountaintops, not for people like me who had bills to pay and deadlines to meet. But then, with one breath, one pause, one moment of silence, everything began to shift. It didn't happen overnight. It didn't erase my problems, but it gave me something I had been missing for years. A way to be present with my life instead of constantly running away from it. And that's why I'm inviting you to walk this path with me. Not because I've mastered it, I haven't, but because I know what it feels like to suffer. And I also know what it feels like to find a door back to myself. That door is mindfulness. If 1 minute of breathing can calm the storm inside you, imagine what 5 minutes each morning could do. Imagine what a daily practice could mean for your health, your relationships, your sense of purpose. Imagine what it would feel like to eat with gratitude, speak with kindness, listen with your whole heart. This is not about becoming someone else. As Sharon Salzberg reminds us, mindfulness is about falling awake to the life we already have. You don't need to wait until you're less busy, less stressed, or somehow more ready. The practice begins now with exactly the life you already have. So I invite you to take this journey with me. Together, we can breathe, pause, and reclaim our humanity in a world that moves too fast. Together, we can learn from the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh, Jon Kabat-Zinn, Jack Kornfield, Pema Chodron, and so many other great teachers who remind us that peace is not far away. It's already inside us, waiting to be touched. That's why I created mindfulness, not just as a channel, but as a companion, a place where you and I can explore this practice step by step. You don't have to do it alone. None of us do. So here's my invitation. Pause with me each day. Just for a few minutes. Breathe with me. Practice with me. Let's discover what happens when we stop rushing through life and start living it fully. If one breath can make a difference, imagine what a journey together could create. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You wake up tomorrow morning. The alarm rings, but instead of rushing for your phone, you pause. You take one breath. You feel the cool air enter your lungs, the warmth as you exhale. You place your feet on the floor, slowly, gently. You smile, not because everything is perfect, but because you are present. There is no rush, no weight from yesterday pressing on your shoulders, no anxiety about tomorrow pulling you away. Just this breath, just this moment. You walk to the kitchen. The sunlight filters through the window. You pour yourself a cup of coffee or tea. Instead of gulping it down while scrolling through emails, you actually taste it. The warmth, the aroma, the way it softens your body. Suddenly, a simple morning becomes extraordinary. This is not a fantasy. This is mindfulness. It's the life that opens up when we choose to wake up, when we choose to live with awareness instead of autopilot. Thich Nhat Hanh often said, "Smile, breathe, and go slowly." Such simple words, yet they carry the power to transform an entire day. And teachers across America, from Jon Kabat-Zinn to Sharon Salzberg to Pema Chodron, have echoed this same truth. Peace is not waiting for us in the future. It is here, in this very breath, available to everyone. So I invite you to see your life not as a problem to solve, but as a miracle to experience. Every bite of food, every word you speak, every step you take can be a doorway back to yourself. And when enough of us practice this, when we choose presence over distraction, compassion over harshness, awareness over numbness, then not only do our own lives change, but the world around us softens too. This is the vision of mindfulness. Not just a channel, but a community. A gathering place for anyone ready to pause, breathe, and rediscover the simple joy of being alive. So let's end here, not with more words, but with silence. Pause, breathe, smile, and remember, peace is already within you.